What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday, happy Easter. Live stream on Sundays is mainly Q&A while I work on some random project. Today I'm going to be working on the RCPC. And if you weren't familiar with what that is, it's where Matt from the Scale Builders Guild and myself are taking and building custom gaming computers inside of Tamiya semi-trailers. So this is mine so far, which is quite unruly and very hard to fit on the bench, as you can see. So, graphics card from EVGA, motherboard from EVGA, it's Intel processor, EVGA power supply. This area right here gets a monitor. Got a water cooler, radiator up front with a fan. Anyway, as you can see on the back side, over here, I still have a missing panel section, which is what I cut this morning. So, my plan is to prep that piece for installation. It's very hard to keep that on the bench. So anyway, that is what did I finish the Techno. I got much further on the Techno, but I didn't finish the shocks or anything like that. It's over there. Maybe I'll grab it in a little bit. But today, this was the last part. I actually cut this morning. So this is going to be that backside panel. And my plan is, at this point, that I'm going to install 2 Be Quiet fans into the backside of this to help pull air through. Because that thing is going to be closed up. At times, at least, and these will help draw air from the front through and out of the back. And then this panel here, I'll actually do a 3D printed bezel and then give myself another plate back here, which is like a standoff, and that will be kind of like an IO area. So that's, anyway, that Techno looked way too complicated. Now the Techno, it was complicated. And it wasn't complicated. That's not true. It needed. There was a lot of extra parts, but honestly, the build quality of that Techno is really good. It just took me a while to get my head around. Their instructions are a little different, but once I learned them a little bit better, after they have an exploded view of the whole step up top, but then the steps are broken down, and it's organized a little funny, but actually really well if you're used to it. So it went along faster and faster as I went, and I got a lot done after the stream. So maybe I'll pick that up off the floor over there a little bit later. Is that a new blade job? Well, kind of. I think you guys saw me replace it, if that's any idea. I think I replaced it on the live stream like a month ago or so. That's how new it is. It feels new to me because normally I change my X-Acto blades every, I change them with the time change. So, so yeah. Anyway, these are 2 120 millimeter Be Quiet fans. Be Quiet is the brand, FYI. And, I'm not trying to, I believe that this is the correct orientation. I can never remember properly on fans, but we're going to assume that I'm correct. Let's make sure my measurements were right, and it appears that they were. Good news there as well. Just built an SC410 from Techno. It is just amazing. The speeding, honestly, it's a crazy. The build of it is pretty incredible. I will definitely say that. Okay, so one thing is that I cut all of this whole part with an 1/8 inch bit, and the screws for a fan are larger, so I'm gonna have to open these holes up a little bit. Not a big deal. Morning, everybody. Sticker is on the outside. That's what I thought, Crawlin' Finn. That's what I was going with, and I was pretty sure I was correct. So we're going to open up a couple of holes so I can get that all mounted. Maybe I'll countersink them as well while I'm at it, just for extra. Hopefully Happy Easter, yes, everybody. Where's the food? Yeah, no, none here. Hopefully some of you got to spend time with family. Those who didn't, hopefully the live stream is something to do. But I've got this is my little Makita bit set. It's like $30 or something like that, but it's got 1/4-inch drive, so you can use it with just the little driver here. This is great for like little RC stuff inside here. It's not what I necessarily would use for everything else, but for RC, works pretty well. Definitely anything plastic, it is worth picking up. We'll drill these 4 out, make sure it works before we... I had an absolute disaster on this desk before this started, so I had some cleanup to get done before the show. And last night I was actually up to like 1:30 working on some other RC projects. So by the time I was, let's see, how is the orientation of this? Just trying to figure out how I want to orient this for wire cable management, as they call it in the fancy computer world. But anyway, I knew that I was like, okay, this is the live stream I'm going to do, because I started it last night, but I didn't have this piece cut, so I had to get up early this morning still, get the part programmed so that I could get it cut and then ready for the live stream. That actually works well. Countersink's pretty flush enough, so. When are you going to post another? Oh, I think you're talking to somebody else. And there we go. To get used to. I figured why I let you know. Oh, interesting. Hear him say his directions took time to get used to, but once he did, they were good. Only hear good things come from it. Honestly, Techno's. I mean, the quality of the parts were great. It was just an interesting approach on the instructions. And I can't say that I've ever seen that style of instruction, but I dig it. So it was cool to see. I just had to, I'm so used to just, and especially when you're building live, you're like looking, talking, and the whole thing. It's a little different than a regular, scenario. So, I mean, I blame myself for the initial confusion, just because I'm only making quick glances at it rather than giving it my full dedicated attention. Did I drop a screw, or did that only have 3? There it is. I got it. Looks pretty good. So that'll be the style of the side of the trailer. We'll get both of those on there, and then I'm going to get this put into the side of that box. Joe says better half is making biscuits and gravy from scratch. It's already 10:10. It's a late breakfast. All right. Fan numero 2. Oh, gotta drill the holes. If the fan is on the inside, it is an intake. If the fan is on... Wait, if the fan... What? If the fan is on the inside... Oh, I'm not... This isn't an intake. This is an exhaust. So... Oh, wait. No, is this backwards? I can't... I'm going to have to look. I think I... Now I have to remember. Maybe it's backwards. Oh well, we'll figure it out. I have to disassemble the whole thing once again anyway, so. It's okay. Yes, the whole thing will have to be disassembled one more time because I have to paint basically the whole trailer. Well, parts of it. The bracket on the back of the fan signifies the exhaust side. Okay, that makes sense. So I think I technically do need to flip this. Yeah, because I want this to exhaust out. I hate how that looks. I wish that I was trying to think of how I have them in on my other PC that I stare at all the time, and I was thinking about it backwards, but I think, yeah, that's the... It just looks so much worse that way. Oh well. What build is next after the RCPC? So, let's see. The builds that I have, I've got a couple of like little builds. This FJ up here on a VS410, I've got to get wrapped up. The 50K truck is done, just waiting on the body. Then Ben's Woodrunner, pretty much wrapped up. I did a bunch of work on the Traxxas TRX6 yesterday. Well, not a bunch of work. I installed a couple of pieces I had designed that I cut out of carbon fiber yesterday, and got that ready to go. So other than tires, the TRX6, well, I say that. The TRX6 would be ready to go if I just put new tires on it. So the, what else? No, that's not, you can't normally just switch PC fans. They're usually made to go one way. It's just a thing. But the TRX6 would be ready to go. However, I felt like getting a little crazier with it, and I ordered a big sheet of 1.5 mil carbon fiber to redo the underpan in all carbon, just because I thought that would be fun. And I ordered all titanium hardware for it because that just sounds cool. All right. Now, we're going to flip this fan while we're at it. I feel like I should try and find some black hardware to replace this hardware, but we'll be all right. Give me TRX6, the price of ship. Oh, yeah, no, my TRX6 tires are not normal TRX6 tires. They're the... I'm going to go to the Proline Reactions because of the belted to try and keep those from growing during the speed runs, because the rear two tires, once I started getting to the 65 mile an hour range, started to grow and touch. Even with the Crawler Innovations foams, they were still touching just a little bit. So it was just like, okay, I'm going to go back to, I had belted tires on there originally, but I went to the Hoosiers just because I thought that I thought that they looked so much better, you know, for the style points. But either way, any plans for I've had all the stuff for a 1.6 wheelies for like 7 or 8 years. I've got a custom CNC plasma frame. It's a beautiful chassis for it, and I've got the body and everything, but it's never one of those builds that, like, I think the 6 scale sounds cool, but the wheelies is like kind of 6 scale. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it is 6 scale, but they were just because they were so small. So I don't know. Yeah, I seen yours. How come you guys didn't install OD gears in the axles, or did you? We did that in the first episodes. However, it really wasn't necessary. It just, you know, I've got them in there, but honestly, that much gearing wasn't needed. I ended up kind of going back with different gearing in the transmission, it kind of counteracted it. So yes, and of course, all three axles. If you're trying to go fast, you need to match the ratio. so that'll get me that. I guess I don't mind the look of these on the inside because, did I do that right? Yes, I did. Okay. Because when you'll be looking at it from the front, you'll actually see things proper, or see the logo and it'll look good. So I think this will be all right. All right, we have to get this installed into the trailer. Brian Sherwood, thank you, sir. Here's a 50% off chocolate bunny on Monday. Ooh, hollow chocolate bunnies. So good. There's something about the hollowness that just, what do they say? It hits different. All right. Nothing like a little bit of waxy Easter candy. All right. So now we've got to get this great big ass trailer up onto the bench. Always interesting. They put something in that air. You know what? I kind of agree. The Corvair did awesome. Corvair did awesome in Moab. Someone was riding a Corvair. Matt's Off-Road Recovery fans here would love to see an RC version of that Corvair. I have not seen that. There's just no good way to have this on the bench and film, which I found to be true, especially while trying to film the actual episodes. Let's see. There's totally not a bunch of stuff on the edge of this desk that you guys can't see just out of camera view. Here's a little camera dolly that I use on occasion. That doesn't need to be there. There's a Traxxas shock oil carousel. That can go over here for now. All right. Let's see. Zoom out the camera. Well, this is a 16mm fixed lens. So, one, it doesn't have zoom. Two, it's already at 16mm, so it's pretty wide angle. What do they call it? A prime lens. Straddle the two tables. Yeah, you know what? If they were at a closer height, it would work. But one is significantly higher. So, anyway, okay, now my hardware box. I have a special box for this build with all of the M2 and 3 hardware. That's the proper size for the build. So, I'll open the doors, then you can see in. Oh, man. Some guys do reverse one and forward. Oh, wait. Never understand why we don't exhaust the heat with cooling fans on RC, but only supply. You mean like out of the body? I'm confused. Where are you seeing heat? Time for a studio rebuild. Yes, specifically for all of my large-scale semi-builds. I think that's a good idea. I was about to say open the back door. All right, we're going to... I've got to take some of the... Have you seen Mike Finnegan's C10? Holy crap. Yes, I like following Finnegan quite a bit. He's one of my favorites. got a lock nut on the back side there. Okay, there we go. So, catch it. So, just an FYI, I fixed my leaking issue on both axial and incision shocks. You finally found your method that you like best for building shocks, huh? Or was the leaking issue that you just stopped filling? It's going to take a bit of concentration for a moment. Okay. So there's all these little fingers and everything that go in that can be a bit tricky to get to. Trying to make sure that they're all even so that everything drops in, because they're only by one screw. I love to spend other people's money. Josh would have no trouble at all spending. Can you say 50,000? Oh, yes, studio builds. There's so many things that I would love to do if I had. This room that I'm in right now is not very big. It is 10 by 13, which by all means I'm happy to have, but it's not exactly a large studio to try and fit all of the junk that I have in here, which is my own fault. Have a hard, so a little sticker for the backside of the fan I think I will do. But the actual whole PC, both sides, will get a wrap for the outside. There will be a final panel that goes on the outside so that it camouflages the whole thing when it's not in PC mode. So yeah, that's the goal. All right, this is becoming a bit of a pain. I think I actually need to loosen the little standoffs that are on the bottom. However, it's a bit of a problem because, let's see, can I flip this over without things going sideways? Or like going poorly? Careful. Whew, that was a bit nerve-wracking. Okay. I have to figure out how to get to that screw. We shall see. Is the top still original? Yes, the top of this trailer is 100%, will be 100% original. No need for me to get in and have any changes made to that. One less thing that I have to do as well. I actually am I have to recut every panel, all other side panels on this, other than this one. This was a final design, but this one was a tweak to design, and the other two up front I need to tweak as well. So whole thing has to come apart one more time. But I think I'll do that while I'm getting ready for paint. Thought about doing a final mock-up before I then disassemble again, but I don't think that that's going to be my path. So, for anybody wondering what I'm about to do, there's a very tiny screw right underneath here from the bottom. And to get to it, you take off these fenders, which is a pain. Instead, I could just take and drill a small access hole. Solves all of my issues. I'm going with plan B. It's a very small hole that nobody will see. Perfect. Unnoticeable. I wouldn't call that a hack. I would call that just a, I mean, it's not hacky. It's just it's a build tip, really. Small access holes are the way to go. Exactly. People just, you know, sometimes, I mean, it almost should have just been engineered that way, right? I'm telling you, Thermo King in the front to hide air intakes or fan. I've got that because that's what this is. So that's up there. The back side of the front panel is cut out because I've got an AIO fan up there. So the radiator and fan are up front. Thermo King gets cut out, drills through, or blows through. So already ahead of you. What'd I do with the panel? There it is. When in doubt, drill it out. I subscribe to that method. Drops right in that time. All right, we got one more that I can easily access, though. There we go. Did I leave the stock steering axle on the trailer? Stock steering axle. This trailer is 100% stock, but I don't believe that there was any steering axle. These are all 3 fixed axles. There's that. Okay. It fits. All right. So yeah, don't think this kit has that. That is correct, because this kit definitely did not have any steering axles. So mechanical engineers about creating things, worrying about how poor sucker will actually have to work on it. See, that can definitely be the case. These little Tamiya kits are kind of fun to work on. Can be a couple of pains here and there, but not terrible. I'm gonna everything's actually going back together pretty smoothly, so it looks like my tolerances were close enough. Good deal. I'm excited. Should be the last axle. No. These are all, none of these axles are steering. Not on this kit. So. This is the Polar Express or some Freezer King. I don't remember what it was called. But there was definitely no steering axles. I'm a huge bummer as mechanical engineers in meeting. I always asking, but how can we assemble that? Yeah, there's there's always some level of it, but no matter what, even engineers who want to think everything through, it's really hard to hit everything. Sometimes you're always going to work on something and go, hey, oh yeah, I missed that. Just getting everything lined up. Come on. Cannot find the hole. And one more here. I will be glad to. I actually think I came up with what I didn't have a use for this computer when we started building it, but I think I've decided, I think I'm actually going to take it to work and use it as my second computer there, because right now I use my desktop for one and a laptop for my second. I think I'm actually going to mount this on the wall above my desk and then use it as a second computer there. You have to complete a design to budget and schedule, address accessibility and maintenance as much as possible within those constraints. Always, that's exactly it. It's just like, there's a reason not everybody does it. Or what's the saying? If it's easy, everybody would do it. Okay. Closer and closer. I've got to get, it's just that one screw I can't get to line up, but there it is. Just had to lift it up a little bit. Perfect. Dang, I'm pretty happy. So again, I'll go, oh, let's put that wheel on before I forget. Oh, I should tighten that screw before I put the wheel on. Otherwise, I will permanently forget that. I'm gonna have to lay it down. Damn it. Thought I could get it without, thought I could just eyeball it. It's so heavy. Geez, are those Be Quiet fans on that thing? Not quite Noctua, but still pretty fan. Yes, I went with Be Quiet. Yeah, I was gonna, and I went with Be Quiet because they were available to be here by Saturday. And the Noctuas were going to be Monday. So Saturday got the call. And I've had good luck with Be Quiet fans. So, you know, I've got Noctua in this computer in here, which I really like. But as I said, it could be here on time. And that is what is important. My Fusion 360 expired. Is there a way to still wait to get it for free still? There is. I don't know the process, but you can do it. I pay for mine, so I had to pay for mine like a month or two ago, because I'm using CNC milling, and some of the features that the free version have, the free version takes away certain things for CNC milling, like rapid feed rates and things like that. So for me, it was worth it to pay the $360 some odd to get the full version. But I'm in some Fusion 360 groups, and there's people asking every day how to renew their personal license. So I never read those because it doesn't apply to me, but it's definitely a thing because they get answered every day. So you might want to just jump on some of the Fusion 360 user groups and check out some of the many threads that get posted every day, and everyone's always like, did you search for the answer? I have to dig up some of the other pieces to complete this, but here is the look of this on the back side. You can see now. So I think that panel will actually look pretty good when it's... So this area here will be my I/O. Like that's like where you plug in all of the other things. Now the motherboard is actually in here with the normal I/O, but I've got some cables and some things like that to extend them to where I need to be. And that's kind of my rough plan. The other thing that I have here is a PCI extension cable. This is the cable that goes from your motherboard to your graphics card. And currently I have in there like 2 extension cables daisy chained together, but it just didn't look good. So I had to buy this one, which was like $70 for this stupid cable. But can you flip that trailer over to see the axles? I mean, yeah, probably. They're just 3 straight axles. See? No steering. Or does this have steering? I don't remember. No, no steering. Or it's locked out or something. I don't know what it is. It doesn't move though. It's pretty solid. And so, all right. I built them all the same way. There was no difference in where it said to put any of them. Okay. Here is this fancy, stupid long cable. So this cable is what cost me $70. I sure hope that it's long enough. It's already making me worry that I should have bought the one that was slightly longer. They had a longer one, but it was like $80. I'm concerned. I'm really concerned. Oh, man. I'm going to be pissed. Especially with how long ago that I got it. Okay, so those are the 2 that I have to take out. Measure twice, buy once. Yeah, it's a hard thing. It was a hard thing to measure. Let's see if I can get the old one out. So this is what I had in there. Is these 2. Not properly locked, I guess. And they're significantly longer. bought one that was like 3 or 4 inches longer, and I should have bought the even longer one. Oh, I don't know if I can make it stretch or not. That's really, that sucks. That sucks so bad. All right, let's read some comments since that's very annoying. Oh, time to remount the video card. I would almost consider it, but oh, that sucks real bad. And I do not want to have these 2 extension methods. So, come on, Josh, acknowledge my question about. I didn't see what your question. Extension cable, like. Oh, we talked about the 50K build. It's by my feet here, but where's that? Behind me. I haven't actually I haven't really showed it. I didn't really want to show it until it was done. I don't know. We'll see. But here's the balance. 9-4. Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's hopefully, I've had this for so long. Hopefully I can return it and get the longer one. Have you ever had that happen? Especially when you just been sitting on it and then just. I don't even know what to say. I'm super. Talk to me about expensive cables for computers. Look up SFP cables sometime. I don't know what that is. I'll talk about expensive cables all day. That's replace cables on machines. Ugh. I'm a computer guy, and that looks like me with RC parts. You always buy the right computer parts. The RC parts, you buy the wrong. Yeah, I see that. Not the way you opened that box. That's also true. I did ham fist this box. What was this length? I bought the 300 millimeter. I suppose I need the 400 millimeter. $80 extension cable. And good thing more is that everything costs now, and you probably sell it for more than you pay. Hey, there you. Well, that's actually hopefully the 400 millimeter is available, because I bought this before things got absolutely stupid. I should go to 500 millimeter, Brian. You're probably right. So let's answer some questions. I do it with car parts at work, anticipating projects for students, and then they get delayed, only to find out I ordered the wrong parts and it's been too long to return them. You know, with RC parts, I'm fine. Even, computers, like, I like to build computers. I would like to build some more. I want to actually redo the one that's in here with a new case and make it look better and actually mount some things different. I'm going to keep this desktop, but I want to get rid of the legs that I have on this desk and go to some what's the ones, like the height adjustable, what do you call it? Power legs? I don't know what it's called, but I want to go to those in here because it will take up a lot less room. And then I want to mount the computer to the underside of the table. So, but I'd like to do that and make everything look. So yeah, the interactive bit of the streams worked for me the first time. Yes. Glad to see someone else doing the same mistakes that I do. Bought rear wheel bearings, and 3 months later, they were the wrong ones. Too much time, had to eat the cost, $225. I want to see your come in and be ground. Yeah, it's now it's early. I have to coerce her to be on the streams on Friday, early on a Sunday morning. That's a hard pass. Standing desk legs. I think that might be what they call them. And mainly this is an IKEA tabletop, which it's like a $99 top. And then the legs that are on this are like the IKEA, they're like a sawhorse style. They're adjustable. But since they're sawhorse style, they take up a lot of room underneath of the desk, which is just, I mean, it's super annoying, really. It does hold the PC on one side, but still. Is VS410 Pro going to be available? Man, we've been putting them up every week, and they sell quickly, and then we just we're constantly trying to keep up. So they check like A-Main, we delivered a bunch to them. Checking the dealers will help, because that's, when we put them up on the site, say we put X number up, say we put 20 up, like A-Main could come in and buy 18, and then two other people come in, maybe two other dealers come in and buy one each. Like everybody, dealers and customers, they all have the same portal, the same inventory. So that's why a lot of that stuff just gets soaked up. IKEA also has some pretty decent adjustable electric. That's the ones that I'm actually going to go get, just because like the whole pattern and everything underneath of this top will work directly with them. It's easy, and I can just go get just the legs for cheap enough. You need a third lack shelf. Chibs, I thought about that as well. It would get into the area where I currently have that light, so it'd be like, and then I wouldn't have that proper, position of the glow that I like so much. When do rock jocks up on the website? Same, they've been going up pretty regularly. They just sell quick. You just got to watch them. So I'm not going to just keep answering availability questions on parts though. So, because that's a never ending story. Is the power supply in that trailer already? It is. It is in. Let me get this useless cable out of the way. So the power supply for it is right there. It's mounted on a panel that goes left to right. You can kind of see it right there. So it mounts through the front, and then that panel is mounted on each side. And then I've got the monitor. This is a small monitor, and this actually just goes in there like that. So it's got a monitor there. There's a projector in the back. I am redoing this whole piece actually. That crown will actually go away. There'll actually be a larger crown back here in that area. This area will stay open as far as that goes, unless I did actual like Lexan, in case I wanted to try and make this, if I wanted to like seal up a lot of it so that the airflow pulled properly through the front, then through the whole cavity and out these exhaust fans that we just installed today. That's the rough idea. The side panels that will go on this eventually also are, they'll be perforated like on these, in this area where these fans are. So, and where the graphics card is on the other side. That way this whole thing would function properly with it closed up. Hey, Rich, happy Easter as well. I'm an RC nerd, not a computer one. Yes, I have quite a few car parts that don't fit and no way to get rid of them. They just keep collecting. A 12, A-Main has both black and clear. Just picked up my first Pro in black last week. Yeah, I mean, A-Main's usually soaking up a pretty good chunk of them. The RGB lights, none of the parts that I've used have been RGB, but I have been considering doing just some RGB strips through the whole top, just to shine down and kind of light things up. That's been kind of the only route that I've been thinking. And I guess I really don't need them everywhere, since this area will have the monitor. It's kind of, you'll only really see in the motherboard area, and then whatever's behind the crown. So I haven't at this point. I don't. Alex, RGB, gross. Psh. I have one computer that's full RGB unicorn, and then the one in here has none. So I don't know. We'll see. I haven't decided. I like lights too. How many screws in that trailer? I have no idea. I mean, extra screws that I put in, that would probably be an easier number. But total, couldn't tell you. I've always wanted to build an SCX-102 raw builder's kit, and now the cliffhanger body has sold me on that prod. I got the cliffhanger body and the Ford Ranger. So I got both of those in the other day. Actually, I think I might take and put the cliffhanger onto the flat rail chassis build that I did, because why not? It's actually a really good looking body. RGB is like underglow. Real performance guys aren't fans. Just got my first Vanquish order confirmation. I'm somebody now. Oh man. That might be the most expensive build I've ever seen. Looks like anxiety. There is a lot of stuff in there. But, I mean, I haven't really added it up. I don't know what it would cost to replicate this, especially if you add the truck into it, because that's a whole nother part. But the funny thing is, it's just like the truck and trailer hangs off the end of my desk. This desk is 60, it's like 59.5 inches long, and it's the tires all fit on it, but the overhang's slightly off because I went with the extended frame rails. Thought you were selling a flat rail. Everything's for sale, Brian. I mean, I put it up on my website because everything's for sale, but you know. Watching from my favorite crawling spot on the road to Mosquito Pass. Where is that? I've got to know. What bag did you get to after hours Friday night? Oh, Gunner, I think I'd have to look. Like G or 8. I can't believe how many. Like Techno breaks things down into that thing so far that like everything, it's just like your bag R. It's crazy, but it's, you know, it's cool. And once I got the hang of the manual a little bit more, because it is a little bit different, it was just things went better. And of course, when I'm not live streaming and I'm paying, you know, closer attention here and there, things like that, then I can kind of get. I actually spent probably more time figuring out the M2C parts on that Techno than most of the other. But I've got the full center section, chassis brace, rear thing going. It's cool, and those parts were pretty nice. So yeah, anxiously waiting my Typhon on 2 6S SMC lipos to arrive. The Typhon, I've got the Limitless behind me right now, and I'm pretty excited to give that a shot, because that seems like it's gonna be funny. I'm looking forward to try and go. I don't know. I really want to do 130 something. I think I've got the power system to do it. I don't think that'll be too much of an issue. So it's just whether or not I can control it, make sure I have all the auxiliary, other parts around me to make sure that I've got it. I'm thinking about doing a radio amplifier and things like that, so I can feel more confident in my range. Might even come in handy for the TRX6. So we shall see. What motor and ESC are going to put in the truck to pull the trailer? So the ESC, we've got the Tamiya MFU in it, which is also the ESC. And then for the motor, I just put in a Holmes 55 turn Trailmaster Sport motor. So slowed it down compared to the stock motor. It's a 550 can, but just a basic motor, because really it's not going to get driven, that's one thing about this 114 semi. It's like, I've always wanted to build one, but I knew I really wouldn't drive one that much, or hardly ever, but it was still fun build and totally worth it. And then to have it be something completely useless like this made it even more worth it. I've got my MT410 up to 55 miles, but I wanted to go fast. Yeah, my PC right now is a Fallout Nuka-Cola themed. The theme builds are cool. I really like Matt's theme build that he did on the truck, especially. Have you ever considered designing a custom transmission? For what? Like we worked on the VFD transmission, which, that's that is like the transmission that we wanted to build, so that it had everything we wanted built into it. Like that was, you know, being that I get to work for a manufacturer, like things that I really want to, really look forward to, like we can work on as projects. So that's the, it's a little bit different than just making a custom part or something like that. So, and you also have to look at things in a different way. Recommended motor is 50 to 70 turn, is popular if no MFC. Yeah, and that was why we wanted the MFC, so that we could do the lights and all that. And then yeah, 55 turn, it seemed to be what people suggested, so that's what I threw. I had one around and threw it in. I definitely didn't have anything higher than that laying around. If I didn't need to order something because I'm going to drive this twice. What is the purpose of this truck PC? The purpose is to have a PC inside of a truck. It's the purpose of any of it. It's something to do. I've never built a completely custom case, you know, but so there was a fun challenge. Design your own PC case inside of an RC Semi. Let's just because I think EVGA got them hooked on building PCs. Yeah, EVGA got in contact with me a little over a year ago, when I started streaming more, and you know, asked if I wanted to kind of, you know, what do you want to call it? Cooperate with that? No, like I don't know what you want to call it. If I wanted to partner up and do some fun things, and I said, absolutely. And I'm a computer fan. I built my own, like all the PCs that I own, I've built, and I enjoyed that. So it was, it allowed me some more, you know, possibilities. And then we pitched them this project, and they're like, absolutely. At least drive it from the car to the office. Now, for the actual challenge of this, Matt and I both have to drive these. So they will get driven once at least. And there's a timed section of it, so we have to drive them as fast as possible. What tires and wheels do you run on your SCX-10 stock or... I've got Vanquish wheels on stock tires currently. I'd probably change out the tires if I drove it more. I just don't drive my SCX-10 all that much. I love the body of the SCX-10 The SCX-10 itself, I just don't end up driving as much for, you know, different. I suggested to Matt to do a PC RC, a small RC that runs inside a computer case. One of those little 1/64th Mini Coopers, little racetrack inside there. Maybe some inductive charging so it never has to stop. What are your feelings about the Boom Racing BRX01 kit? It's definitely not my style of kit. I like that, you know, it's made for the LC70. It's kind of cool. It's scale as far as that goes, but I don't really trust the Boom Racing quality on a lot of stuff. And it just is so, and it's not really my style of truck. So it's not something I think I would ever find myself ever wanting to own. So, chat room, that looks so expensive. Josh, pimpin' ain't easy. EVJ, hey. Wow. Two-car garage that, oh, sorry. What a feat creating this dual-purpose big rig. I think that it's a lot of fun for, now I still have a lot of cable management design work to do to try and get everything routed and covered and looking proper. I'm really not looking forward to disassembling this whole trailer again, but it must be done. So that just, it's a part of it. And then I have to do the final outside panels. Right now, all of these screws on here are all button head, and those all have to get changed over to countersunk. But like I said, I have to recut every one of these panels. Well, these two panels and then the front backside one, just because of design changes that I made. So that's when I'll do it, because then I'll countersink all of them before I install it. It's so awkward to have this on the bench. New build for Rocus Roja? Possibly, at least maybe a class 1 and a class 3, just because. It seems like that would be, it'd be good to go with all 3 trucks. I was going to buy a second MT10, but couldn't find one in stock anywhere. Same as the ET48.3, so bought the Typhoon. Yeah, I think Gunnar said that he'd had this MT410 that I built on Friday for like 6 months, and he just hadn't touched it. How much voltage can I put to a Red Cat Gen 8 V2? I think that they're safe for 3S. I think it's just got basically a 1060 ESC. I think that it's a Hobbywing 1060. It might be one of the other brands, but I think they're 3S safe. It looks great even if we can't see all on the screen at the same time. Yeah, I just have to constantly just keep like a scrolling Chiron or something like that. Just back and forth. I'm looking forward to getting some of the rest of the little peripheral stuff done, like the panel I need to put in the back here for all of my connections and things like that. I initially was going to do all of the cable connections through the belly out, and then there's like a there's this box that normally goes underneath of this, like so. It goes underneath here. And I was going to run the cables through and then try and attach them through one of these. And honestly, I think that's the better idea and it would look the best and all this. But there is a massive amount of wiring that goes with that. And I feel like it would be better suited if I just was a little bit more conservative, went with something that I could more easily handle and get done. If I needed to change anything or try to get to anything, I could do that, because I haven't posted this yet. Like made sure that everything fired up, meaning post in the, as PC people say. So there's just so much to it that I think if I overcomplicate it at the start and then something goes wrong, it will all just be very, very frustrating. Is the tractor done? Yeah, but no. Good Lord. I still haven't put my stacks on. And the look of fear, that is very correct, Alex. So yeah, so the tractor is this is the King hauler, and I did a 6-inch stretched frame rail setup, and I did grand hauler fenders on the rear. I've got large stacks for this to put on. They're much taller and much larger diameter. They don't have the mesh, a little bit more custom truck style. This thing is very dusty. But I even painted this myself. Crazy, right? And it's got the MFU in it. How did this thing come off? I can't remember. So it's all wired up. It's ready to run as far as that goes. I can't remember. No, I haven't changed the battery plug yet. It still has a Tamiya battery connector on it. So I need to get that changed out still. But I mean, there's a ton of other parts that I keep like, ooh, I should buy the aluminum fuel tanks, and I should buy the, you know, front grille and the bumper and so on and so on and so on. But whatever. That's the way any of those builds go. Oh, and I also want to do a boxed frame cover still, but we'll see. Dale C, by blowing that semi, does that make you a lot lizard now? Son of a you need a bigger bench. You know. Yeah. It's there's so much dust on this. I obviously haven't touched this for a while. This is a multi-function brush for any of you that didn't know. It's a paint brush or a dusting brush. There we go. Just get that all kicked up in the air so I can finish my coffee. Yeah, that's the way that should go. Gray Matter Fab, thank you, sir. Much appreciated. What would you recommend to get with my first VS410 Pro kit? I mean, if you haven't chosen your electronics, that would be the first step, right? You know, and again, that kind of canned air, I think that would be bad for audio, and I don't have any in here. I have an air compressor, but that's in the garage. You know, yeah, like Brian says, new wheels is also, that's probably one of the most popular things. A lot of people like to, you know, we include the Incision bead locks in there. So they are a bead lock with a replaceable hub. But if you want aluminum wheels, you know, style, things like that, that's another thing. So, you know, for me, I have tires and wheels on mine. I've got Proline crawlers, and what do I have on there right now? I think I have KMC machetes on there currently. The ESC in the one I drive the most is a Tekin RX4 with a 3100 kV Rock 412. And I've got Tekin servos in mine still. Honestly, they're not very powerful servos. They're only like I've got the Tekin T360, not even the 440. And it's still kicking after what, like 2.5 years or better? So we're going to go on three years, is that right? So yeah. That color scheme really works. I think it did too. These are the graphics that came with it, you know, and yeah, that like orange with gold and cream, just it really came out well. And I'm thinking if I mount this on the wall over my desk at work to actually hook it up, I may mount this with it, just all hooked up, because I don't know. Oh, one other thing that I do need to do, I did stretch the frame on this, but I don't have an extended drive shaft on there yet. I bought an extended drive shaft. Guess what? Also too short. So I may just make my own drive shaft just to get it done with, and it's going to work just fine. Like I'll build myself an extended wild boar style shaft because it'll work just fine, and especially for what I plan to do, and I can just be done. So I'll probably sleeve it with aluminum or something like that to make it look good. So I have a 20-plus-year-old Airtronics servo that are still just fun. Dang. What was that? Which Airtronics was it? There used to be like a go-to electronics in the mid 2000s that everyone used to use. I wonder if that's the one. I'm going to let's see. I'm thinking I finally want to do a modern scale comp build. How do you like your brazen scale? It was a fun build. You know, there was a lot of things about it that I liked. It's got an 6-degree angled belly. You know, he's got that front servo mount setup that you can buy, the 3D printed one. And it's a little bit wider than like standard SCX bumper width. So I sanded mine down to be able to put on SCX10 bumpers, or SCX10 width bumpers. And then from there, a lot of them, you're kind of on your own as far as cross members and things like that go. So it was fine for me. I was able to get everything going, and it was a fun build. So be awesome if a projector popped out of the roof of the trailer. Mobile movie viewing. Chibs, did you not know that I had a projector in here? It's not mounted right now, but the projector is built into the side, and it's right here. So yeah, I thought a projector was also a good idea. So there's a little cutout right here on the side, and that's where this points. And then this is, there's a couple little things here and there. So yeah, see, I also think that projectors would be great ideas. So I do still have to build the final mount for that as well. I want to build a slightly adjustable setup for it. I forget. Now, if I mount this on the wall, though, that projector will be facing the wall rather than the op. So I may have to make a new roof panel that it pops up out of. Like, or the old VCRs, that you hit them and the whole thing. Maybe a short throw projector so you can mount the trailer on the wall. Let's see. Wait, what's a short throw projector? I don't know what that is. Hey man, you came up in the chat on Ultra 4 yesterday. What's going on, Alan? Good seeing you. Were you out in Moab or just watching? I watched, I only watched the last like 2 or 3 laps of the Moab Ultra 4 race. Crazy how good the coverage is out there now. The Clear Circus CS80. Oh, I'm dropping frames. And coming back a little bit. Sorry. So we're picking frames back up. Hold on just a second. Put some of this away. Okay, anyway. Hit the mic. My bad. Moose Jaw saying, more mechanical stuff. How heavy will this be? You know what? That is a great question. I'm guessing by the end that this will be in the 30-pound range. Something like that. I mean, this thing already feels like it's in the, maybe just under 30. I mean, this has got to be 6 or so. I mean, I make it look so light because of my immense strength. But this thing is actually pretty heavy. It's got to be pushing 20. The Tekken RX4 has been out for a while. Do you think Tekken will release something new? No, I don't think that is the... I think that the issue is just right now silicon supply overseas. Right now, it's really hard for manufacturers to get any chips made. I know that a lot of ESCs right now are just out, and it's hard to get them. So, yeah, I don't know. It's it's nuts. It's tough right now. I mean, I was trying to get some ESCs the other day. Luckily, I had a Mamba X left, but that's what you're saying is it's going to be a thick boy. Yeah, I'll put that on the wrap somewhere just for Dale C. And I was trying to get, Chibs, you were trying to get the announcers just shouted at. Perfect. I'm an auto painter, and from watching this channel, I bought a Red Cat Gen 8 V2. It's what I could afford right now, and I was very happy with it, but the shocks after 2 runs are gone. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of common, that type of thing happening. You know, you're still going to be able to have fun with it, even if they have wasted the seals. So, you know, you can buy what you want. You know, you can have fun with anything. Once you start buying more cars, and then you have you're comparing them against the ones that you've owned. That's when things really get interesting. You know, your first car, buying something cheap, the only issue with ever buying a car that is a cheaper car is that if things breaking start to deter people from wanting to stay in the hobby. That's the one time when like that's why I don't always like to suggest someone buys the cheaper options, is just because it's like, well, if you constantly have breakage issues, you're breaking an axle shaft every time you go out, you break a, you know, whatever it is, then it's just like, well, then that turns people off, and saving $40 from another option ended up not paying off. So that's the only time. But beyond that, there's nothing wrong with it. And especially if you're enjoying it, even better, because then you're going to buy something else down the road, and it's a snowball effect. And then we all win. Josh, I will absolutely pay to get ad space on the side of that trailer. Dale, I'm going to have to put it in like graffiti style. Haven't watched in a while. How's the VS410 chassis VFD trans and SCX103 straight axle build going? Release the link kit for it yet? So the build is basically exactly as you saw it on that Sunday. However, yes, the link set came out about 2 weeks after that video. It's on the website now. Beyond that, though, I haven't done anything with that build. It's just kind of sitting there. So I don't really have a plan for it. All I wanted to do was bolt it up to see if everything worked. And that was kind of the whole thing. And then from there, it's just like, I don't know. One day I'm going to have something. I'm going to be like, I need to put something on here. I'm like, oh, I've got this truck that's ready to go, and it will be the one that I choose. But until then, it will take up space on a shelf. It's all about priorities. My Ranger shocks are blown, but my crawlers have great suspension. You know what? I believe there's people in this chat that know several instances in my real life that also mirror that type of scenario. I need to have some graphics made for the side of my trailers. Yeah, I'm going to have my normal graphic artist printer do the wraps for the sides, top and back doors. So I think I'm just going to paint the front of the trailer and leave the reefer box white. That's the plan. Oh, you know what I need to do still is integrate the power switch. I should update that in my CAD model before I cut another front panel. Or where do I want to put it? I think I was going to put it up here in the front. Maybe I'll do that still. We shall see. The details. I bought a Gen 8 axe. The only thing I had to replace from me was the tires and wheels, shocks, and the plastic link mount from the for the lower links at the axles. Love my axe. Josh nailed RC experience. After about 4 years, do you think Traxxas will bring a TRX4-2 to the market soon, or the TRX4 will sell so good that they don't really have to? I don't think you'll see a TRX4-2 anytime soon. TRX4 is still a decent platform. It's good for a lot of things. It's a great customer experience as far as that goes because it's super durable, performs well enough, and it's really got what Traxxas needs. It does good volume. It's got great aftermarket support. I don't think you'll see a change there. I think that they're just going to ride that horse into the sunset. I bought a Mamba X from A-Main as soon as they came back into stock. Don't have a truck for it yet, but seems like they're always out of stock lately. Scott, that's exactly true. And I think you'll be super happy that you did that. Snowball effect. I started with one for the dogs to chase, and 1 year later, 15. It's an addiction. Exactly. Get those tires on the Jeep yet, Josh? Swoof, I knew somebody was going to say that. Could you share the contact info for your wrap guy? Yeah, you can go to Facebook and go to Freaky Skins, F-R-E-Q, like frequency, but Freak, F-R-E-Q-E, Skins with a Z. So Freak E Skins. He does both design and printing. So custom jobs can be a little bit more difficult just because you know, it's trying to break into his normal stuff. He does a lot of my graphics work, both for here and for work, so I can usually strong arm him a little bit. Will the USB cord that is included with the Castle BEC work with the Mamba X, or do I have to get the Mamba X cable as well? No, same one. You're talking about the Castle link, because yes, that is the same one. Works with all Castle products. Brett B, on your budget build bomber, you upgraded the stock shocks with the aluminum parts. Is that still worthwhile upgrade, or go straight for some short course big bores? Personally, I would go straight to short course big bores, but it's hard to do that in a budget build situation. For me, if I have the choice, I go to big bores. I did that, and I don't even know if you can find those parts anymore. So I would still just go save your money and go right to the big stuff if you can. I did upgrade to an R2 Axe 540L. That's another story, but it worked. Old cheap is better than new expensive sometimes. Everything quality has expensive back in the day, though. Are you planning on building any other big rigs? Not currently, but we'll see. Honestly, it was an experience that exceeded my expectations. I thought that this would be fun, but I didn't really embrace how fun it was going to be until later. So I think that is they're just cool. It's a different world, and like I said, I don't see myself driving this much or ever, other than like once or twice. But that doesn't deter me from anything that I felt or thought, because it was just so much fun in so many ways. Like I was talking, like I still want to put aluminum fuel tanks and a grill and a front bumper and a rear bumper. I already have the stacks. There's, the fifth wheel setup, like all of that stuff I just still want to do. And billet wheels and tires. Like I've almost bought those from RC4 Drive a few times for, it's just like, do I want to spend another $400 or $500 in aluminum parts for this thing? Like, I don't know. Sorry, trying to grab the mouse because I went on a rant and didn't read everything. TRX4 will go the way of the Slash. Small, quiet upgrades and be available forever. I think the exact same thing. Got the oil in my RC axles handled before the oil change in the full-size car. It had to break a window before hearing it complaints. Yeah. I was watching the Cletus and Cars live stream yesterday and watching some people put windows in their block. That was fun. How many here said, I will just want... said first, I will just get one RC truck. Never thought I would only have one. Dale, check your Instagram. Sent you a graffiti creator. The cycle of style can be changed. Interesting. Bought the VS4. Oh, dang it. Bought the VS410 chassis to convert my SCX102. Only thing left on it is the axles. But when I can get them from Vanquish, see, it's a snowball, right? We always do it. See, no difference here. A little late to the party. Anyone going to watch FIA Extreme E Dubai off-road race today? Oh, I didn't know that was on today. Might be worth a watch while I'm working on some other stuff. Have to get RCs. You have to get RCs in twos, right? They can play together. You don't want them to be lonely. Traxxas has what plants crave. That's perfect. Going on Holmes' hobby site, it's like a nice page, nothing for sale. I think that he's struggling. I think that it's a domino effect, though. It's like if somebody's out, this place sells faster, and then they go out, and then this place sells fast, and it's just like no matter. It's just everything's getting soaked up. It's nuts. Let's see. Have you and Matt thought about a hardcore build-off? You brazing a chassis with a bunch of fab versus Matt doing all-out scale build, and let people watch and make fun of each other doing it. The only problem with that is timelines. So it's something like that. If you want to do a full, bunch of it just takes so much time. And then both of us having to line up, it's like, it's hard to do it as a build off unless we were both just like, all right, 1 month, we're not working on anything else, go. And that's just tough with life in general. Matt's super busy right now. I've been slammed the last like 3 months. Do you think Axial, where's that say? Do you think Axial is going to discontinue the SCX-10 I've seen the hobby web pages say limited quantity lately. They may discontinue some models, but I think at the same time that you'll see others just stay around for quite a while. Because honestly, the SCX-10 is still such a good choice. What do you think about the Maya tow truck? Awesome. A friend of mine here locally has it and finished it. Super cool to see. I do not have a desire to buy one. From a builder aspect, having to model all the functions for a semi-reproduction has its own appeal. Yeah, lots of things like that. Check out the Hercules hobby wheels, a lot less expensive. But are they... I'll check them out. It depends. I'll have to check out the brand to see. Like, I definitely don't want to... I'll check out the brand. I don't trust a lot of brands, or there's some brands that I don't like to support depending on what else they're selling. If they're selling if they're selling knockoff products at all or anything like that, then I don't like to buy from them. But I'll check out that brand. Hercules. Little chrome ladies for the mud flaps. I don't actually have mud flaps on here, but I could put them on the backside of the fenders. I started with an SCX now. I haven't. The only Axial left is pretty much it. Traxxas will make a straight axle truck. I don't know. I don't know if they will, because portals are still the hot thing right now. And like just going to a straight axle is like removing a feature to them. And that's not Traxxas' style. Can you hold up a 1.9 tire to the body, thinking about using the King for a 6x6 build? Let's see. This is a 4.65 inch tall tire. And you can see it's about the height of, it's about the radius of the large portion of the fender, roughly. I bought electronics for 2 more rigs now. Reference to Holmes Hobbies chip situation. Yeah. I don't know about Holmes Hobbies, but I think we were talking about that with Tekin, and that's a guess on my part. I think that's kind of what's going on and why we're seeing so many delays. There's so many constantly checking Holmes Hobbies website that things sell out almost instantly. That's the way. I mean, same happens on our site with Vanquish. It's just kind of the way. Maybe John's project is still in the Suez Canal. I don't think that his would come that direction, but I think that a lot of the hobby stuff that we're after doesn't go that route. I think that's a fun joke, but I think most of our stuff comes the other direction. Ever been into anything gas or nitro? Electric is fast, but can't replace the raw sound. So I had an HPI 5B. That was my only gas. And then I had the Kyosho Nitro, what's that called? Inferno, but honestly, I don't like the sound of the Nitro engines. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. I don't like the sound. I mean, like, it's okay, but at the same time, I'm just like, it's annoying to me. I love cars, like exhausts and full-size loud cars. The Nitro RC engines, I don't know, they sound like weed eaters. It just doesn't do it for me. People don't realize how long it takes to braze up a chassis. Yeah, and it's not even the actual welding part. Welding is fast. Brazing is fast. That stuff, if you had all the tubes done, you could have a chassis brazed and done, even if you're, fixturing or doing whatever it is, in a day. But cutting, bending, fitting the tubes is where all of the time and work is. Hercules. Oh, Hercules only knocks off entire Tamiya. Oh, did they do? Are they the ones that did like the Bruiser style? Ugh. With portals, being on the box is still too much of a selling point. That's the exact thing. That's exactly it with that. Can I donate some aluminum parts for this build? I mean, that's a very nice offer. I appreciate. I mean, if you have a bunch, I don't know. There's so much on here, but you can shoot me a message on Instagram. I'd be happy to, if you've got some of the ones that I'm looking for, I'd be happy to buy them from you. Did you see the Holmes Limited 6-shooter? Yeah, that's his, was that, it wasn't an outrunner, right? It was an in-runner 6-shooter stubby, if I'm not mistaken. It looked pretty interesting. Hey, some Earth Digger tracks would look great on that thing. F Charger, I was on the edge of my seat watching your Instagram post yesterday as you opened the $250 RC4-wheel drive mystery box. I was dying. Definitely have to talk about that on Wednesday with Matt. I still have an OG SCX-10, and I love it. I don't see myself ever going for a 3. Honestly, Tim, get an SCX-10 II. An SCX-10 II is so much infinitely better than an SCX-10 I. Like, I have no desire to own an SCX-10 I again. Not that they were bad trucks. They were great trucks for so many things. But the SCX-10 II was fantastic. The SCX-10 III is good, but I honestly, if I could only have one of the 3 SCX-10s, it would be the SCX-10 II. It just, to me, it is. Is it a Peterbilt or a Kenworth cab? I think people say that it looks more like a Peterbilt, but I don't know that for sure. Big Cam V8 or Viper V10? Ooh. There's something about those twin turbo Viper builds out of Texas that is one of the most impressive things to me. But if it's not that, then regular Big Cam V8, yes. You are missing the wing on the sleeper. The big old aluminum wing. I just accidentally bought a Grand Hauler on Wednesday. Can't wait for it to get here. Awesome. Looking around platforms, would have been considering that the Sendero looks like a great value with lots of options already for the upgrades. The look more I liked it. I like the Enduro as well. Out of the box, the performance is good. There are some things that I don't love about it. The gears are a little bit weak on the mesh and they like to kind of pop. The axles look okay. They're a little kind of bulky in the center. I prefer the SCX-10 II axles basically. But out of the box, the Enduro probably has one of the best platforms. So, Cletus proposed to his girlfriend. She said yes. It's on his Instagram. Wow! Congrats to him. I enjoy that channel. It's just fun entertainment. I bought the pay-per-view after the event was over, just so I could, because I missed all of it on Friday and Saturday. Andy Wood, $20. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Happy Easter to all. 10.2 is better by than 10.3. Not close. I prefer the 10.2 personally. 10.3 has amazing details. The body's great. Inner fenders, all, it's portals if that's what you're after. There's a dig and a 2-speed and things like that. Don't love the function of the dig and the 2-speed. They just don't work as good as I'd like. And the motor's a little high, but the body's amazing. So there's pluses and minuses. To me, though, the driving experience, the SCX-10 II is it for me. Between the two. You might have convinced me, but I'll always have my OG. It's a good call. Keep that truck. Get yourself an SCX-10 II as well. And just have fun with them both. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. I took your advice and that of others, and I finished my SCX-10 II RBK last night. See? And it's going to be great. You'll find... 10.2 is better just because of the raw simplicity. That's a big part of it. It is very, you can make things complicated but still easy in ways. The 10.3 is not that. It is complicated and difficult. It's, getting things out of it or working on it is difficult. And there's just little things. It's just a bit of a pain in the butt. You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? Lloyd starts a nitro car. I feel you on that. I think I actually have a video on my old YouTube channel with exactly that scenario, Moose Jaw. So on the like that, I used that clip and then put a nitro car. So my question is, where do the cow horns go? On the grill, obviously. I'm off to go do taxes and send help if I'm not back in an hour. Ugh. Yeah, it's that time. I've got to finish mine. How's the Camtech Reliant? I handed off the Camtech Reliant to Moose Jaw so that he could do paint scheme. I'm not sure which one he chose, but I think we came up with some pretty good ideas that I liked quite a bit. But in the end, I will sit back and wait. Due to the angle of the spread on the block of the early V10s, they always sound slightly out of time. I like the last gen twin turbo V10s that the guys are building out of Texas. They're monsters. All right. We've got, what time is it? 11:30. We still got a little bit of time. Have you ever heard a RX at full song? What? It will hurt your ears. On the other hand, my dad's 396 will mess with your heartbeat. I love that car. A RX. Do you mean like an RX-7? A rotary? Is that what you're talking about? Will a Lloyd body fit the 10.2? It absolutely will. Yes. Yes, it will. I would love to say no. I'd love to say no to that. What do you think of the Toyan scale engines? I think that they're super cool. I wish that some of the other models were available as kits, like the twin cylinder. The other thing is that, so if you buy the twin cylinder kit to assemble, because I've looked at it several times, you can't get the actual like running base, because there's like, if you can buy the kit that is, or the model that's already assembled and it's on a base with a fuel tank and everything you need to run it, like right there, so you can actually operate it. If you buy the kit to assemble it yourself, you can't buy that part separately, which doesn't make any freaking sense. I've been very tempted. I really like the 10.3. I just uploaded my first drive with it, but I might just build a 10.2. Honestly, the 10.2 performs better than the 10.3. I don't know that there's a course you could put together. Maybe if you really focused on some sort of weird portal hang up, but other than that, I'm pretty sure that a 10.2 you could put through any place better than a 10.3. You should auction off the PC truck for a good organization. You would raise lots of money. I have lots of money in this, though, and that's the problem. That is the problem. I have a grasshopper build that Brian Sherwood donated and that I bought all the electronics for, and I think that might be like next Sunday's deal, to finish all the electronics and finish that up so that we can auction that off. And I think what my plan is that I'm going to auction that car off, and then I'll also match whatever it is up to a certain value, because in case there's somebody who's feeling extra generous and I can't match that. So just in case, I'm gonna put a limit on that. And if so, then we're gonna donate. I'll have whoever bids the highest, I'll have them just donate right to an organization so that they can get a full actual write-off to a, what is it, is it a 501c3 or 30, I don't know, whatever that but I want it to go like directly to them. That way, whoever donates can get a write off. We'll predefine which charity. So, and then I'll do the same for the donation. Brian Sherwood says, "Can I bid?" No, Brian, you can't bid. You are not allowed. You donated. You are exempt. When cutting carbon fiber, wear a respirator or man up and go to 10. Well, I guess I don't wear a respirator. Maybe I should, but I run a dust collection right at the head, so that just because carbon fiber in the air and breathing that stuff is quite a danger. So I don't ever Dremel on carbon fiber personally. I just the only thing I ever do is I do cut it on my CNC, but with dust collection. I really should have a respirator around just for other things though, so probably a good idea. I wear eye and ear protection whenever I'm using the router, just because, but still. So you don't want to pull a Linus? Yeah, wasn't that some sort of, yeah, it was pretty interesting. Fun car to drive, never get to the RPM starting power, 5,000 to 6,000 RPMs where others run low. Oh, RX, I've never actually been in an RX-7, I don't think. I think I rode in an RX-8 once, but not the same. Grasshopper sold for charity for 10,000. Josh sweating profusely. Exactly. I'm going to cover CYA immediately. So that means the Lloyd body will fit a VS410. Here's my my VFD is clicking. What is a possible solution? VFD is clicking. Check the top shaft, the shaft that goes in from the spur gear back, and make sure that the pin is properly seated in that, in the top gear. Otherwise, it's one of those things that you kind of have to figure out. You need to make sure that your pinion gear isn't like the pinion. It doesn't have a set screw coming around and touching the very tip of a tooth on the spur. There's lots of areas where ticking can happen. That's hard to diagnose just by a question without like really looking at it and trying to figure out where it's coming from. The RX-8 was too soft and they didn't turbo it. It left much to... that's what I always heard. And like I said, I never rode in an RX-7. So the RX-8 experience was always just kind of like, okay. But I was like, agreed. And the car was heavy. I mean, that makes sense. It was a later car, all the safety stuff. They were trying to make them last longer. Such a crazy thing. Oh, what are the seals called? Apex seals that they always eat up in rotaries. I mean, just like anybody else, I end up watching a lot of car content, but I have zero like first-hand experience with a rotary engine. Zero. But anyway, all right, we're gonna wrap this one up. We're gonna go to 11:50 my time, so another like 5-6 minutes, but. So we'll go from there. Get anything else in you have there. I'll rapid fire through as much as I can by that time. I just bought a set of helical Yoda gears from RC Pro Drive. Anyone have good luck with those? Hopefully have better luck than the stock ones, but that's a tough one. I would like to try a 4-rotor twin turbo on a 64 Nova, but them seals. Yeah. Those Rob Dom's 4-rotor stuff is pretty rad to watch. Yeah, I really needed a turbo. Rotaries are cool, but they need help breathing. How far did you get on the 410 Friday? I'll grab that before we go. God damn it. I keep hitting that thing. So, on Friday, How many times do I have to keep doing it before I notice, right? So this is that truck we were working on Friday, Techno MT410, with a bunch of M2C stuff. So it's an M2C extended wide body chassis, they call it. They've got all these extra braces that go in and tie the front bulkhead and the rear here. Then this that's all aluminum bracing. These are 70, 75 bulkheads in it, front and rear. And I can't remember anything else. Oh, it's got aluminum diff cups. The front or rear one didn't actually fit properly though, so I haven't got to that. I haven't built shocks or anything like that on it yet, but beyond that, pretty rad and insanely beefy. Just absolutely crazy. Okay, I'm gonna keep going through comments until we run out of time. Apex. I have a friend in San Jose who is all about his FDs. There's some cool ones. I'd freaking dig it. Tyler Boss, happy Bunny Egg Day. I like the Lloyd VS410. Match made it in a hot place. Wow. Have you seen the Grind Hard Plumbing Company Drift Trike build that's using an RX-7 engine? That's nuts. But I should look that up because anything trike has me intrigued. I had a 64 Nova took from me, parked in an impound yard by my house. I watched it get strapped. That hurts. I quit driving my 10.3 because of the annoying ass ticking. It just sits right now. That does suck. I know that they talked about that first gear needing flipped or something like that, but I never really experienced the same. Can we bring back STL Sunday once in a while? I really enjoyed seeing practical applications of Fusion 360. I know what you mean. We could do one of those every once in a while. I know it never really took off. So maybe doing it every once in a while would be worth it, but we'll see. I have the helicals and yes, better than stock. There you go. That is good news for anybody who's running the RC4 drive stuff. Josh, let me know if you and Matt want to do a build off with something using a Techno vehicle. I'm lead designer. Hey, cool. Thanks for checking in. Crazy, beefy, fun stuff. It took me a minute to get used to the manuals, but it was after I learned, like I said, it's hard when you're doing the live builds and you're like paying attention and talking and doing all that. Having the exploded view up top and then the steps below, I didn't notice it at first. I was like trying to go off of it. Anyway, my fault for being distracted, but crazy beefy, super fun. We will definitely keep that in mind. Thanks for popping in too. VS410 Ultra or Pro? Pro for me. I just like the straight axles. That is my personal preference though. Really, that's the big thing. Do you want portals? You want straight axles. Can we get a tucked Ranger? I want to see Josh's head explode. I'm a child of TI in Long Beach. There was Killer RX2 that ran there. I don't know what that means. Just got off the roof of the Lloyd when it might look so good. Cut off the roof of the Lloyd. Yes, that would possibly do it. Will the SCX-10.3 work in the VS410? I think so. I guess you'd have to expand on what you're asking there. Like, because if you're trying to use it in a Pro, you have to be able to flip the third member, and I don't think you can't do that with the SCX-10.3 rear. So that's why you'd have to expand on what you were trying to get done there. Just recently got my first VS410 Pro and was looking very forward to the build. Awesome. Hope you enjoy it. Tucked Ranger. Seems like you need to play Twister or Tiptoe through your studio. Not gonna lie, bit of a disaster at my feet right now. But it will get, once this is over, I can put stuff away and everything will go back in its place. How would you set up a Mamba X for a VS410 with a Polar Pro 3500? Do you mean as far as like my actual programming settings? Because I'd have to pull up my Mamba X settings. I do not remember them offhand. I've said it 100 times once. Hayabusa boy, always a Hayabusa boy. Loved my Hayabusa. Loved it. Miss it every day, every day. The Grindhard 2JZ mower is a sick build. I have been watching that. That thing is ridiculous. Now, a cool build is a Hoonigan rotary key truck. There you go. I want to say thanks to you and Vanquish for awesome parts. Finally got the #1 trophy at my local RC mega truck race. Nice. Any 124 scale builds. I have an SCX 24 build planned. All the parts are just out of view. Just. Howdy, folks. Ordered Veer's 14 Pro kit yesterday. Happy Easter to me. Boom. Good for you, Chongy. All right. I'm wrapping this up. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your Sunday. Spend some time doing something fun. We'll see you Tuesday for the scale news. And I'm going to do more work on this and see if I can return my freaking $80, $70 PCI extension cable to get the right length one. Appreciate you guys stopping in on a Sunday. Thanks, Brian Sherwood, 949 Designs, Gunnar Nissen, Gray Matter Fab, and Andy Wood for your donations. Much appreciated, as always. With that, I'm going to go have more coffee and get some more stuff done. We'll see you guys next time. Check out the live show with Matt and I on Wednesday as well. Later.